Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. I can't believe it. We're almost at 20 wins. We're at 19. It's the closest you can get to 20 without going over. 9 FTY 7649. I'm not. I know you're gonna want me to talk about more gold member stuff. I promised Order of Canada recipient Mike Myers I would go easy on him. He said, "Come on, man, you're eviscerating me out there in the court of public opinion." I said, "All right, but just to make it even, I'm gonna need you to hit me with an oh behave." This conversation never happened. Anyway. We're here. It's a Sunday. It's anecdotally, what the heck do you want me to say, you know? It's been a bit of a big news week. Not sure if anyone's been following this little thing called the news, but there was a cat that was stuck in a tree. The whole world was talking about it, and very recently the fire department showed up and I don't know where this bit's going at all. What can I say, you know? It's 2020. All sorts of stuff's going on, but most of it, you know, you watch through a 40-inch LCD, LED. What? I don't even know what they make TVs out of. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not really like a TV guy. Like, I have one, but I'm still like stuck in that era where the thing that makes a TV good is exclusively its size. Like, when people talk about 4K, I'm like, you guys got ripped off, dude. My TV was only like 300 bucks. Yours costs like 15 times that? That's insane. And I don't know why people are so surprised at LED. They're never like, you know, why LED? They're always like, oh, LED. You hear this, Kevin? You hear this? And I heard, because thanks to the pandemic, baby stores are suffering. Yeah, baby stores are suffering, Kevin. Which is why they've all started to offer cribside delivery. Cribside pickup, Kevin. Cribside. Anyway, that's good night. It's 7:26 in the morning. It's the same day. I relish the opportunity to get up. Well, it's the same day as yesterday, I should say. Relish the opportunity to get up a little early, play a little Isaac, keep the streak going. I hope we're getting some early good items here. The last run was very, very solid. This run is shaping up nicely as well, but some of it does come down to our next floor and whether or not we're able to get that spirit heart / deal with the devil action. Let's caffeinate a little bit, shall we? Alright, do not go to the cursed room right away. I don't like it. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm actually... Leo's kind of a weird one. I'm happy to have it now. I would love to be able to get rid of it later. For now, like, it's... I wouldn't say exclusively good, but it's more good than bad. But once we get into floors that have... I'm gonna get hit. I'm not gonna get hit. Once we get into floors that have actual hazards on them, like, it's gonna be a little spicier, but that's okay. Honestly, the coupon is amazing as well. I think it's an overlooked spacebar item. I don't necessarily think it's underrated. Like, I think if I asked people, like, how do you feel about the coupon? They'd be like, it's a great item. No, oh, no, no, no. But if I was talking about, like, the best spacebar items in the game, I don't think it would get brought up very often. Which is kind of, I think it's overlooked in that sense. Because I actually think it, especially early, could be one of the best spacebar items in the game. Free deals with the devil. Many items from the shops. A Pepsi bottle. And a Coca-Cola glass. I think if I was like a casting director in Hollywood, that would be the line I would ask my lead actors and actresses to read in different emotions. Like, read it dramatically, okay? A Pepsi bottle. A Coca-Cola glass? That's not good at all. And then, comedically, a Pepsi bottle Coca-Cola glass? I don't give a dang. Emotionally. A Pepsi bottle. A Coca-Cola glass. That's what I'm doing so badly at it, and I'm like an 8 out of 10 actor. So I think if that's what I mean when I say that I think it would be a good test if you were like a truly amazing actor, if you were like a Seth Rogen quality actor or something like that, then you could really nail that line. I'm sorry for this next bit. A Pepsi bottle? Okay, I don't think it's a good Seth Rogen impression, but I'm impressed by how close it was to the best I could do, I think. A Pepsi bottle? A Coca-Cola glass? That's amazing! That's not it. I'm delirious. I apologize. I'm delirious. Okay, hold on. You wouldn't do this to me. You wouldn't create a situation where it's impossible for us to go to the item room or the shop. I disbelieve that you would create this situation, and I don't believe you would create this situation. We do have a bomb. Okay, that's not great. Okay, that's even worse. 2 bombs, I suppose, would allow us to maybe go to the shop, possibly. You know, I just don't want to deal with this guy. It's not the right way to have handled that, but... No? Okay, 1 bomb will allow us to get to this secret room. If there's a bomb or a key inside of it, we would be stoked. Eye of Greed is, it's an interesting item. Not a doubt about that. This is a huge whiff, dude. I mean, we didn't really do anything to create this situation, but it still does hurt. Either way. We should be... I mean, there's always a chance we get something from the boss to begin with. Like, we get consumables from the boss that allow us to proceed the way we would like to proceed. But then also, secondarily, there's always the chance we just get that 36% chance to begin with. We can get a Stars card or a Hermit card. We can get an Empress card is what I meant to say. We can get an Empress card. And I guess we're just out, dude. That's an extreme bummer for sure. That is an extreme bummer, but you know what? We got a good chance on this floor now. A Pepsi bottle? Look, I can't do a Seth Rogen impression, alright? Oh, some of my colleagues have Pepsi bottles. And some of my colleagues merely have a Coca-Cola glass. Does this seem fair to you? I recognize the irony, by the way, that immediately upon entering the next floor, we received the consumables we broke our back looking for on the previous floor. So be it. Life goes on. We accept the little twists of fate, like, you know, track 2 off of Bob Dylan's 1975 post-divorce album, Blood on the Tracks. And we, you know, it's like a water slide. You know, you don't create the twists and turns, you just kind of weather the storm. Did you know, so everyone for the most part is familiar with this now defunct, notorious amusement park in New Jersey called Action Park. It was the inspiration for that Johnny Knoxville movie like 2 years ago where it was like... it was like a real stunts, but a scripted comedy. I admire the creative bravery involved with coming up with the concept, and, you know, it's definitely novel, although apparently it was not received particularly well. But either way, let me in here. Either way, if you're not familiar, there's this amazing YouTube channel, and I'm not the first person to tell you about it, I'm sure, but there's this amazing YouTube channel called Defunctland, which is all about, essentially, like, theme parks that no longer exist, or, like, stuff like, you know, Disney tried to launch, like, an arcade/restaurant chain, you know, in the 1990s, and it no longer is. It's talking about, like, all that sort of stuff. You know what? I think we should. Let's buy it all, dude. And it really, really well researched. Like shot and edited in the same way as, like, you know, Netflix original documentaries. They got an episode about Action Park that you should really watch. It's just, like, such a bizarre amusement park. But, by the way, Action Park, I didn't even, I buried the lead. The reason the amusement park is so infamous is because of the fact that it had incredibly dangerous rides and also had, like, 4 fatalities a year every year that it ran. And is famous for, you know, just some stuff that's, like, audacious. Like, a water slide that killed multiple people, but they kept it open. They tried to get, like, a loop-de-loop on the water slide. And then they got interviews, like, with people that even were on the water slide. And they were like, even when you went down safely, it wasn't fun. It was just painful. Anyway. I highly recommend... I don't watch, like, almost any YouTube. And I have nothing against YouTube. I mean, you know, I'm curious. You don't watch YouTube, and yet you're creating videos for YouTube. Well, it's more like, you know, let's say, like, you, for your job, like, if you were filling out spreadsheets, you probably wouldn't be, like, too stoked if you're in your leisure time. You're like, hey, let's watch a dude fill out some spreadsheets. You know what I mean? It turns on the analytical side of my brain too much, a little bit, I guess is one way that I would describe it. I'm like, oh, look at the thumbnail. Is that a watermark? Magnificent. Hold on, let me see what's going on in here. I will destroy you. What? That's incredible, dude. Also, what the heck's going on with this guy now? It's like I destroyed his back, but the rest of his body's still alive? What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing after. Okay, he's coming. But defunct land, I'll make an exception. That's pretty good. That's a good pickup. All right. So this really puts things into high gear. When it has been your day or week or month or even your year. Is there a song on Planet Earth that feels like weirder to hear the second verse of than the Friends theme song? It actually came on the radio the other day. I mean, like, you'll never be able to strip the song "I'll Be There For You" away from the television program known as Friends. It's just, it can't be done. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Friends. As you can tell from my antisocial nature, a lot of the show I just didn't get. What, these people they spend time with each other willingly? Like, out of their own volition? It just doesn't make sense to me. But the show is obviously, like, insanely popular and iconic and yada yada yada. Anytime I hear the second verse of that song, the theme song, this guy is too fast, man. I always feel like I'm getting away with a crime. Not that I would know what that feels like, but it feels like you're shoplifting music. Just it transports you into like immediately things start feeling surreal. You're like, I know the tune, but they're not saying so no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke. Your love life's the way. Anyway. Like, I've never heard the second verse of Kelsey Grammer's Tossed Salads and Scrambled Eggs. Oh, baby, I hear R&B a-calling. Caesar salads and poached eggs. Ah! You ever find yourself watching Frasier just to get a little glimpse of what Seattle pre-Amazon was like? Just me. Okay. Have I ever told you? Sorry, this is what we do. Sometimes we spin our wheels trying to come up with a bit, and I need to wait for the inspiration to strike. So we try multiple things and we see what sticks. If you get offended by any of these little micro jokes, I apologize to you. But Ever tell you that in Canada, Frasier is syndicated on CMT, the Country Music Television Network? I like, the joke is impossible to come up with because it already has created itself, I suppose. But when I think of Frasier, you know, a show about a incredibly snobby and uptight radio psychiatrist, I don't tend to think of country music television. I wouldn't have thought there would be an insane amount of overlap there. But I guess, I don't know, like, the reason I watch Frasier now and then is I'm like, these guys are like an exaggerated version of me. It's like a cautionary tale. It's like, hey, you know, you could be like Frasier, but don't go so far into caricature that you become Niles, okay? Maybe like on CMT. I don't know who watches CMT to begin with if they're not watching Frasier. Bizarrely, like, CMT actually has like a great lineup. I know it sounds very strange that I would be going to bat for country music television. The actual music, you know, it's not necessarily for me. But they don't play music anymore. They predominantly play Frasier, Reba, which is not really my speed, and then also King of the Hill reruns. So it's bizarrely like one of the most underappreciated networks in Canada, but I digress. But I don't know, maybe some people watch Frasier and they go, ha! Look at that, he's ordering a latte. You would, Frasier. What's the matter, basic coffee not good enough for you? I'll have a latte, please, Roz. It's more like a evil villain impression. If I wanted this much froth, I'd order a cappuccino. I don't know, there's a lot of coffee-based humor. Anyway. It's November. What's up with that? Look. Have mercy, I'm trying, okay? Trying to come up with some humorous bits here. It is, that's very helpful, actually. It is, still 7:41 in the morning. So, like, there's not necessarily, like, a whole lot going on right now. In my life. You know what it is. Baby wake, baby poop, baby eat. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that. Dude, this is like, we have not had a run where Satanic Bible has not shown up in like 20 years. This I feel offended and insulted. We are gonna stick with Book of Revelations though over the coupon. But NL, I thought you said I thought you said the coupon was one of the most underrated items in the game. Well, no, I said it was overlooked. That doesn't necessarily indicate that its quality is better than Book of Revelations. I mean, Book of Revelations is a wonderful item in and of itself. Everyone knows it. Book of Revelations is not overlooked. But some things are not overlooked because they're very good. Joker. Interesting. Very interesting here. We should have just used the bomb. You got 17 bombs. This run is very good, but it does kind of feel like it's stuck in second gear, if you know what I mean. Like it hasn't been its day, its week, or its month, or even its year. We did recently go off on a friend's tangent. I don't know, but people said that that was like one of their favorite episodes of all time. So I was talking to my analytics team, which is me right as I'm trying to fall asleep, and I said, you know what? People love the Friends content. Keep it coming. We analyzed, like, who had the best career post-Friends. And we definitely came up with the conclusion that I think all of the female leads on Friends had a better post-Friends career. Not to say anybody involved with the show is not doing well for themselves. But I always think about that with respect to Seinfeld as well, dude. Like, when I think of Seinfeld, nobody involved, like, as a lead actor on that show has to work ever again, obviously. But who has had the best post-Seinfeld career out of, you know, George, Jerry, Kramer, and Elaine? Well, I'll tell you. I don't want to, you know, punch someone while they're down. Michael Richards, who played Kramer, I think it's pretty indisputable that had like the worst post-Seinfeld career. Things didn't go so hot following that. And if you're not familiar with why, I implore you to encourage yourself to type the name Michael Richards into the Google search engine, and the answers will become clear to you. I'm gonna hit you with something that might surprise you, but I don't think it will. I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus has had the best post-Seinfeld career. 6 seasons of Veep, where she won, I believe, 5 Primetime Emmys for Outstanding Female Lead in a Comedy. Did lose in the final year to, and her name escapes me right now, but she's the actress who both plays and wrote Fleabag. Anyway. Why? I don't know why in my head I'm thinking it's Phoebe Myers-Briggs, but I don't think that's it. Anyway. Then it's got to be Jerry. Like, Jerry's got to be after that, right? Because he's got Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. 2007 or so, he made a B-movie, which I get it's like a meme, but also, like, has anybody else involved in a Seinfeld universe? Like, well, you know, I mean, the universe is big. Like, with Seinfeld, the universe is so humongous big. There was a Seinfeld episode on the other day, and I'll tell you, every time Jerry has a new girlfriend, I'm gonna resist making a joke here that some people can probably fill in the blanks, but every time Jerry has a new girlfriend, you can look at her and be like, I know her from somewhere. Like, I was watching an episode the other day, and I was like, you know what? That's Skylar White from Breaking Bad right there. And it was. Anyway. Lots of famous actresses have been on Seinfeld. Got their start telling 2 jokes on a Seinfeld episode in 1997. I guess we do, like, bigger tiers with shielded tiers. Why not? Where was I going with this? Anyway, okay, in terms of the lead actors and actresses. Number 1, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I even forgot to mention, you know, she also had a few seasons of The New Adventures of Old Christine, for which she won several Emmys as well, I believe. And she was involved with the... I mean, she won 1 Emmy, but... look, I gotta polish that before trivia night, but it's not like the pubs are opening up anytime soon. She also starred in Downhill, the American remake of the... I think it's a Belgian comedy, Force Majeure, which was not very well received, but, you know, either way, it's still a co-starring role. Maybe it's a Swiss movie, I don't know. Maybe I just think it's Swiss because it's about skiing. And family. It's gotta be Jerry after that. B-movie, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. He's had a couple of comedy specials since then. You know, definitely far from my favorite stand-up comedian. But I can't deny that I wouldn't necessarily say he's been prolific, but he's kept himself busy, it seems. And then now it gets tricky. I'm thinking Jason Alexander, who played George. I mean, by default, he's got to be third, because he's certainly not last. But I can't really name anything that he's done, with the exception of that one season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where they got the gang back together for some more Seinfeld. I will say, though, I love the story Dan told. His depths, too, okay. I love the story Dan told about, like, his uncle being a huge fan of Seinfeld, and then Jason Alexander came to town to perform a show, and he didn't do a single joke as George, and Dan was upset, or his uncle was upset. I love the idea that, like, people would pay $60 a ticket, or whatever Jason Alexander would charge, and then he would just come out on the stage, like, in a tucked-in shirt and slacks, and be like, Jimmy! I was in the pool! And then the crowd would lose their minds. And then he'd probably come out and he'd sing some show tunes, you know. Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping down the plains. He's like a theater guy, right? Yeah, I think he's a theater guy. Anyway. We'll continue our analysis later. It is weird. Don't you think it's weird how a lot of television actors don't really pivot? Or, like, I shouldn't say, like, oh, well, it's so stupid. Why don't they just become Captain America, right? What I mean to say is, like, why, you'd think it would be more feasible to make the jump. I don't know if it's a lack of desire sometimes because they're already comfortable, or, like, maybe television acting does require, like, a different skill set than, you know, movie acting. I mean, I do, like, I'm not good at acting at all. I do think acting, though, is one of those things where the better you are at it, the easier it looks, right? Like, you only notice acting if it's bad. And then you might say to yourself, oof, acting's hard. Acting is easy, young man. Impressions are harder. Anyway. Don't shoot me. What are you gonna do? Tase me? Wait, no, I got two different memes mixed up. Don't tase me, bro. Remember that? No? Before your time? That's fine. It's an older meme. Vintage. Kept it in my meme cellar awaiting the right occasion to bust it out. Take a sniff of that. 2006. But you'd think, like, more TV actors would make the jump, right? Like, Jason Alexander, I can only name one film that he's in. And I'm, like, embarrassed. He'd probably prefer I didn't even bring it up. But, he plays Shallow Hal's best friend in the 2001 Farrelly Brothers film Shallow Hal. Where, you know, Jack Black is a very shallow guy. But then Tony Robbins punches him in the face in an elevator or something like that, and all of a sudden he turns blind. Anyway. I don't remember anything about his character, except the first time I saw him, I went, hey, that's Jason Alexander. And then he has a tail. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but at the end of the movie, he has a tail. And when he meets a woman at the end, and she scratches his ear, and then his tail wags, and it's like, it's a whole thing. I mean, it's the Farrelly Brothers, right? Like, they did Dumb and Dumber. They did There's Something About Mary. There's some goofy stuff in both of those films. But they're, you know, fairly decent, maybe. At least. Then they got into some higher concept comedies, like Stuck on You, the movie where Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon play conjoined twins. Shallow Hal. Sorry, I just... The Farrelly Brothers are like that classic movie trailer guy comedy. Bob was just a normal accountant living in sunny San Diego, California, when one day, like lightning crashes and he's on a boat or something like that. He speaks with an Italian accent. Oh, where is my spaghetti? You know, and this movie now would be direct to video. In 2002, that would have made probably $90 million at the box office. It would have starred Matt Dillon in the role of Bob, who would have, at the end of the movie, opened his own spaghetti restaurant. And probably married, like, Salma Hayek or something like that, even though it doesn't really seem to make sense. And then the other thing is, if you had the misfortune of being in high school at the time, you would not be able to escape quotes of this movie forever. I fell on my spaghetti. Remember when he said that in the movie? Anyway, I'm telling you. Mr. Spaghetti Man, that movie now would probably be considered a great mark of shame. In 2001, it would have been the third highest grossing comedy of the year. Little tortilla boy. Alright, it's a weird episode. I'm for it, but it's a weird episode. Anybody watching this work on the television program Family Feud? I would like to go on the Family Feud. Is there any... look, if you're watching this and you're going, I work on Family Feud Canada, thanks but no thanks. I'd like... Don't take this the wrong way. I want the real thing, okay? I got nothing against Family Feud Canada. Maybe if it originally goes well on the OG, then I'd consider it. Maybe we could use it as a stepping stone. I got nothing against Jerry D, I'm just saying. I think I could be really good on Family Feud. In spite of my built-in elitism that I try so hard to shake. I think it's a byproduct of, like, going bald when you're 19. You kind of gotta... you gotta assume kind of an artsy-fartsy vibe, otherwise people are like... And there's only a couple of reasons people tend to go bald in their teenage years. I'd rather be horn-rimmed glasses, let's put it that way. Either way. Where was I going with this bizarre bit? All I'm saying... is put me on the Family Feud. I think I'm tapped into the conscience and the consciousness of the everyman. We asked 100 people, top 10 answers on the board. What is part of a sandwich? Ding, 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 ding. The bread, Steve. The bread? You can't say that on my show. We have fun here. Anyway, let's, you know... let's just end this run. 20 wins in a row. Certainly not upset. Maybe time for that second cup of coffee. If you could just be destroyed, that would be a dream come true. I'm just gonna expedite the process here. My bone heart. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Up so great. You'll of course subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And we're back. See you next time.